Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Jocelyn.
I'm so happy to have you here today.
I'm
This
so
feels
happy to
like a
be
really
here.
beautiful full circle moment because have you been in my world for about a year? Has it been longer than a year yet?
No, it's shorter than a year, but
Shorter than a
it
year?
feels. It was in April. I heard about you in April last year, so it's not even a
Oh.
year yet.
Okay. It's probably because you've been in a number of intimate spaces. So I feel like I know you, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Okay. This is so cool. Okay. Well, so you've been in my world since April. It is now, wow, it hasn't even been 6 months. It's been
No,
about
it's
six months. That's crazy. We love that. And so I'm really excited to have you here today to share about you're human and you're amazing. So I'm really excited for everyone to get to know you. And then also to share about your experience in feminine magic and money. And then also just generally speaking in my world, because you've pretty much, short of Fempire, or private, you've essentially been in all the things pretty much. So I'm trying to think of some ones you haven't been. Maybe a couple, but you get my point. You've basically been in all the things. And so you got the full Jocelyn special, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, and just so many cool things have happened inside your life, your business, your manifestation, who you are, what's going on with how people come to you, your money, like all the things. So we're going to dive into all of that. But before we get there, I would love if you can just, share a bit more about you, the human. So, we like to ask sun, moon, and rising because your human design. Feel free to share it. And then also just like what you do and like just a little bit of a background about you so we can feel like we know you going into the conversation. And I'd love to hear too, kind of like what brought you into my world, but we can get to that part after.
That's a fun story. So I would love to share how I came into your world, Jocelyn. I'm going to
Okay.
share that. Okay, so my sun is in Cancer and my rising in Scorpio and my moon in Libra. And I'm a manifesting generator, a 5-1, and I'm from Sweden. So I live in Sweden with my husband, and I have 3 sons. The youngest is 9, and the older ones are like 19 and 21. So they don't live with us anymore. They're grown up. And I have 2 amazing cats, 2 Maine Coons. And I work as an intuitive coach and mentor. I have a really strong intuition. I have this ability of seeing through people's souls and really see what's standing in their way to find happiness in their life. It's like super clear to me. It has always been, but I didn't do this and make this my profession until like 4 or 5 years ago, seriously. Before that, I worked as a computer scientist and a project manager.
Isn't it so funny? I feel like so often what we were doing in the quote unquote normal world is like so different. Potentially, even though we carry a lot of the skill set, like I definitely feel like I've carried a lot of my skill set from, the business world, obviously, because of what I do. It's just interesting how, like, and we were good at that, right? And then we bring this whole other part of us online, and it's just so cool. So, thank you for sharing that. So, I would love to hear what brought you into my world originally and like the story and then also like what it is that you were looking for because I find that like a lot of women have kind of like a similar feeling before they come in and do the deep dive.
Yeah, I would love to share that. Okay, so we're going through always new levels of ascension, and the spring last year, I was starting to channeling light language, and a lot of things happened in my spiritual evolution, and I was having this, really strong energy of freedom. I have always loved freedom, but it was coming so strongly to me, and I was feeling like I really want to break free. And I had this song by Queen in my
Yeah.
mind. I wanna break free, this. And then one day I was, because I'm a podcast listener, I love podcasts. Although I don't listen to a lot of them, I think the only one I'm listening to now, Jocelyn, is your podcast, because that's how I work. I zoom into something, and I have 2 podcasts myself in Swedish, but I listen to your podcast. But before that, I used to listen to Ashley Wood's podcast, and I kind of only like to listen to her solo episodes. And then, we zoom in and we zoom out, and I wasn't listening to her for quite a long time. And then I just hit by the idea that I should look at her podcast and see if she had something new. And then I saw the episode, and there was something about money. You were a guest at her podcast, and there was some title around money, and I really love money. And I started to listen, and in the intro, the last thing that you say there, Jocelyn, is something about break free. And I knew immediately that my soul had guided me to start listening to this. So I listened to that episode, and what stick to me from that one is that you talked about your love for money, and that is not really very usual among women. And I have always loved money as well. And then you mentioned Louise Hay, and she is really dear to me as well. So, these were the two things that really caught me. And also, since I have my own business, and I had a way that worked with sales calls, but I didn't enjoy doing that. I didn't enjoy that, that model I was using. So I wanted to have something new, and I really loved my coaches as well. But I was looking for someone who was more spiritual. So I sent out that to universe. That's how I work. And I told the universe, now I want a woman, and I want a woman who is spiritual and really into business, but also in a feminine way. That only not that do, but the receive that you talk so much about, and the ease, Jocelyn. So, and that's how universe guides us. Just
every time. It's that simple. We just got to pay attention. It's right in front of your face. Yeah.
So I always send out the wish that I want, and then I receive what I want. So actually I was in quite a balanced place, but I wanted to take my business to another level. And as always, I have learned so much in your world during these 6 months that I didn't know on a conscious level that I needed to learn. But I learned so much. And like when you hear something, it's your soul's truth. So I just, it's just the right place. And you just arrive there when I needed your wisdom in my life.
Thank you. And it is so interesting because this is so much of the journey is like, we know a lot, but we actually just don't know what we don't know. And if we knew, we'd be there already. And like, I've just experienced this even within myself at every new level. Like the goal, the desire is mastery, but mastery is an evolution, right? And like, I feel like people really slow down their growth thinking like, oh, I know this already. I've heard this already, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, but if you'd embodied it, you'd be there already. You might need to hear it a different way from a different person, like whatever it is. We just have to really be open to being a beginner at all times, no matter how much mastery we have, because that actually is what catapults growth.
Yes.
But it's like humbling. It can be humbling to people for some reason to hear or to be like, oh my God, there's all these perspectives, wisdoms, et cetera, things that I didn't even realize that I knew. And then it can create this feeling of like, well, did I even know what I was doing? It's like, yes, but like we want more. So like we're opening a new door now.
Yes. So that's exactly what I'm feeling.
And like, thank God there's more to learn. We're going to be here for a long time,
True.
So I would love to hear then, what was I? Oh, okay. So then for feminine magic and money specifically, and we'll talk about the other things. I know you've been in like so many programs, masterclasses, all of these things in my world, but for FMM specifically, like what was it that called you to FMM?
It was the energy, because I wanted you for the business part, Jocelyn. That's what I sent out.
Yeah.
And you didn't start. I think I signed up for 888 quite early, and that didn't start until the autumn, in September. And then you were talking about yeah, FMM.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember the timeline of everything, but go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I signed up for 888, but we didn't start until September or October or something. And you started to talk about FMM, and I just felt that I'm going to be in that one too. And I was thinking maybe I should take that next year, but I just couldn't wait. So I signed up for that as well. And the cool thing is when it came to FMM, it was more like an energetic thing. Because when it comes to my business, I really know what I want and what I need to focus on. So, and the FMM, I wasn't sure about all the details. I just felt that I need to be in this space. So that's how it happened. And actually, I didn't check all the details in FMM either. But I feel like, or actually, I trusted you because my soul guided me to you. So I just knew that it was the right place to be in. And I don't know if we're going to deep into that now, but it was some of the things that really scared me.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Let's go.
Yeah, it's so fun because we were having something that is called cervix de-armoring. And I had never heard about that. Not even, when I write, I didn't see that when I read about what's in FMN. So I had no idea. And then you sent us an email about what to prepare for this part. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm definitely not going to do that. That's so outside of my comfort zone. I'm not going to do that. And then I had a little chat with myself, and I knew, okay, my soul wanted me to be here. I know I need to be here. So I decided to buy all the stuff, and I went all the way in, and I realized that this part was maybe the reason for me to just choose FMM, because something really happened within me when we did that ceremony. And I love the spelling, and all the things I like, but this was something, next level.
Womb healing is a real thing. And like our physical womb, it's not even just energetic. It's kind of crazy. I feel like every woman needs to have the experience. I can't tell you how many women I've met where I'm like, this woman just needs to do like cervix de-arming and half of her problems would be solved. And instead she's going round and round and round. Like I can like feel a woman who needs it. And they're usually anxious. They're heady. You weren't so anxious and heady, like not as the degree to which I'm talking about it, but it's just, there's so much like disconnection from even the physical part of us that makes us a woman.
Exactly.
So we're wanting to receive like a woman, but it's like everything is happening in your head. It's not going to work like that.
No. And that's also one of the things that I was drawn to. I remember now FMM. It was the thing, like open up to my feminine part, the desire, that part that is slumbering. And often when you are in a world where everything was created by the male and the masculine energy, and the doing, and not the feminine, the flowing, the dancing, just being in your body. So
it's a major change to experience it, and then you're like, oh, no wonder things weren't really working before.
Exactly.
Or they felt so hard. And then when you actually have that switch to being able to like have this leaned back energy, to be able to receive, to just expect things to work, to just know the universe is going to show it to you. And all you need to do is walk in the door. Like it's such a different way of living, and it's so much easier, and the results are so much greater.
It is.
And it just feels better.
Yeah.
And like, don't we just want to be vibing on life and feeling good? You know that I do. Yeah. So let's talk about, thank you for sharing that. There's just been so many cool things that happened. And I know we kind of have like a mixed timeline because you've been in 888, you've been in FMM, you've been in essentially, a good number of my programs, et cetera, et cetera. So some of the things that are top of mind for me, I know you've had your biggest month ever. I think a couple times we've been now closing sales without sales calls. like just the upgrade to your human, to your life. Maybe let's do chronological order because that'll probably be the easiest way for you to remember like how things really started to unfold for you by really immersing yourself in the work, because the changes have been quite radical, but also what you signed up for.
Exactly. So I started with Cash Queen. It was called Money Queen then. I like the idea that if you write a review for your podcast, you get a discount. I thought that was so cool. So I started with that just to see how how your work was. And I love that. It's so much value in that one. Everyone should buy that one who wants to learn more about money and the energy around money. So I really love that. And you have so many cool things in there that I started to implement. And that must have been like in April or something, April or May. And then in June, I had my biggest month ever. And the coolest thing about that is that I was looking back to see what was I doing actually in June, because I didn't do that. It didn't feel like I was doing that much. It actually felt like it was one of my easiest months so far. And I realized that I have started to making things important for myself and starting to receiving things. So one of the things that I did in June, when I looked back, it was that I went to the hairdresser. And I've been cutting my hair myself for many, many years, and also dyeing my hair myself. Total mess. I hated it, but for some reason I can do it myself. I don't need to go to the hairdresser. And then in June, I thought that I'm going to go to the hairdresser. So I went to the hairdresser and I did some things for myself, only receiving luxury things. So I open up for that. So I actually doubled my month from prior month in June because I learned to
And that's huge. Doubling your month is enormous.
It's enormous.
And by this point, we had just started FMM. So you'd been in Cash Queen, and this is when we had just started FMM as well, because I remember that moment.
Yes.
And also remember, you had access to the work in FMM before we were live. So you'd also had access, and this happens all the time. Like this happens in 888, it happens in FMM, it happens in every one of my containers, that because you guys get access when you join, like there's so much foundational work that you've already done. And then we open the Voxer chat and everyone is telling me how they just had their biggest month ever. This happened, that happened. I'm like, this is so cool. Because you're already like moving and grooving and receiving before we've even like started the live pieces. It's like you don't have to wait.
Exactly. Yeah, and thank you for reminding me, because I also went into 888 at that time, and I started binging everything because that's how I work. I want to like learn as much as possible when I'm drawn to something. It's like I'm just open to it and I receive as much, and I implement it and I listen and I receive. And I guess you can see there are not many questions coming now, Jocelyn, because there's so much information I have received. And I also started your hottest shit on the internet at that time, which really is the hottest things on the internet. So, there's so many things. And so what happened more, I got the energy, or the focus of really up-leveling my life in more levels, and, starting receiving. So if you just look at my private life first, I have always said that it doesn't matter what kind of car I drive. And then I realized that I was quite annoyed about driving the old car that we had. So I was so annoyed every day. And then I realized, okay, I'm going to change this. So I started saying kind things to my car and really appreciate it. And the cool thing is that my husband, he was waiting for a new car and it was delayed. It was an electric car, or it is an electric car, and he's been waiting for that for like over a year. And, the same week that I started to really appreciate our old car, he said to me, oh, the car is coming. So he got the new car. And I was about to have the one he used to drive, but I didn't like that one either. So I wanted a new car. And then suddenly a new car arrived for me as well. That I named it Electra after one of the Pleiadian sisters. So now every time I'm going to drive that car, I feel so, this is the perfect car for me. I really enjoy this car, and it's a total different feeling. I think
Not settling, not just making things work, not just suffering through even the smallest thing. It's like everyone's like, yeah, I want to be a 7-figure, multiple 7-figure, 8-figure earner. I want to be living the high lux life. I'm like, okay, but part of that reality is not driving around a car that you can't stand. Like you need to have standards everywhere. Like literally with everything in your life.
Yes, I love that, because you have really taught me to up level my standards. And the next thing is my office. I work from home, and imagine having an office that every time you come into it, you're just like, oh, I hate it here. It was painted in a color that is the worst color. I don't like that color. It's beautiful on other people, but I just don't like that color.
Yeah.
And I was having this office, the color and the decoration for like maybe 4 years or something.
You didn't like it for 4 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had it on my vision board, redecorate my office, but I just didn't make it important. It's actually not that important. It's actually not that important. That's what I was telling myself. And that was during FMM. Then I just got the energy and I started to redecorate the room. I painted it myself because I wanted to do that, because I wanted to put the energy into the walls. So I painted it myself, and I picked up the furniture, and my husband and my son, they helped me to put them together, so I didn't have to do that. But now my office feels, you can see the color behind here, it's so smooth, and it's like I feel so held in here. And every time I get in here, it's like an exhale.
And we love the feminine exhale.
Yes. So
that's so beautiful. That's how I feel. I painted my office this like caramel color, and that's how I feel when I come in here now too.
Yes.
That is the best. And so what do you feel like? I would love to talk about like other things that have happened in your business too, because it's been because obviously you want to be doing business more the feminine way. And I feel like you've actually been able to step into that. Like even what you were sharing in 888 last week around closing your first high ticket sales without sales calls, which was something you really wanted. And people just being very, moved by your content and literally saying like, you're speaking truth. And as you know, anyone who hasn't taken Hottest on the internet, get the fuck in there right now, because it activates you on a completely different level. And the way it calls people to you, where all of a sudden, oh, don't need sales calls anymore. Oh, wow, this is so easy. It's like, it works because there's truth. You're not just like following a formula to try to quote unquote, get somebody to buy, is that we're going to build a big business off that energy.
That is so cool. And, I realized, the thing about doing that, you talk so much about, Jocelyn, doing your business in the feminine way. And also because I'm really good in my private life to have boundaries and not doing the things I don't like. I'm really good at saying no, but I started to realize that I was doing things in my business that I really didn't enjoy. And I'm going to do some more changes after this in my business. But that was new to me, because since, so many of us, we're so really good at doing so many things. So we just do them, not actually thinking about that we don't like them. So I love that, that I'm only going to do things that I enjoy and that feels easy to me. And
it's not costing you money. You're making more money, not less.
Exactly.
I think this is what everybody is so afraid of, that like, if they structure their business to actually work for their energy, that somehow you can't have as much. I'm like, that's a program. It's about, and of course, this is more business side of things, like everything you've been learning in 888, But I'm like, no, it's about running a smart business. Like you're not just like doing less and then nothing's happening. You're optimized for the place that you actually want to be in business, which includes optimizing where your time goes. Like this is a real thing and this is available. You can have a more enjoyable business and make more money. Like the end. So this is my whole thing.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember now that I used to do all the things with my podcast myself, but now my son is working for me, so he does that. And it's so good because I just record and then I leave the rest for him. And I can do all the things, but I don't want to do that. It's better that I do other things that are more important to my business.
And
so
that
that's
are also like income generating. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was hard at the first time to letting someone else do it. But I learned that from you also. That was I think that was when I was in FMM something. And yeah, what you say is so cool, because since I started sharing my truth, people are actually coming forward to me and saying, hey, what you say is the truth. They really say that to me. I get that. That responses, and people who have followed me for only a week, they get into my DMs and want to work with me. Just what I was hoping for, that my content would be so showing so much of who I am, so that people just know that I am the person that they are going to work with.
And I love this to just dial in a little bit more on how to shit on the internet, because I feel like one of the things that you came into that, I'm obsessed with that program. Like actually obsessed. You don't need 16 content programs. You need to take this one. Like I'm that confident about it. And because so much of the way that content is taught on the internet is like you follow a formula, you plug and play. And I'm like, how the hell do you expect to be perceived and paid like a thought leader if you're building content by following a formula? Like I teach about different styles of content and why and all of these different things. But my whole goal, and I love what you've embodied coming out of that space, is like, I want to teach you how to naturally have your content fucking turned on to where people are, they find you, they hit your DMs, they pay you, we're good, right? Because that's my experience in business. That is, yes, because of who I am, my conviction, etc. But you need to be able to feel that through my content, or you would actually have no idea of who I am, my conviction, my body, my etc. And so I find that a lot of women have been learning through structures. It's like, content prompts, frameworks, like blah, blah, blah. But then they don't actually want the results of creating content like that. They want the results of someone who is perceived and experienced as a thought leader. And someone who's a thought leader is not creating content like that.
Exactly.
Like through that way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember now that was
me like you had learned things, and this is no fault of like who you learned them from, but like my program, like if you guys want to be thought leaders, we need to get into a different category here. That's my whole point. But like you said, it was like quote unquote working, but like it didn't feel good.
No, it was working, but it didn't feel good. I felt that I don't want to do more of this. This is not scalable for me. I just don't want to do that. So I wanted another approach. And I remember now when you talk about it, Jocelyn, that was one of the things that made me so drawn to you. And I wanted to know how the hell does she do it? Because I wanted to be as magnetic as you are. Because when I just heard about you, I listened at the Ashley's when you were her guest on her podcast, and then I started to binge your podcast, and I knew that I'm going to work with this woman.
But that's the whole point, right?
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be that for other women. And it's all about showing who you are. When you are authentic and when you speak your truth, Jocelyn, which you're really good at, that's why so many women just are drawn to you, because it's the truth I want. And I have learned that a lot from you, like speaking my truth. And another thing that I like with you, Jocelyn, is that I'm really independent as well. And I don't need a guru in my life. I want someone to teach me. I mean, how can I learn from you so I can do the things you do, but still be me. I'm
Still
Jessica.
be you. I am not into this like cult vibe
No,
that we see so often. I'm like, this is not where to, because I'm not interested in that.
no.
Yeah. And this is something I love about my clients. It's not like, okay, it's so obvious that Jocelyn's her coach. Do you know what I mean? Because now they're becoming Jocelyn. And I'm totally fine when people leverage things. Like I teach them things and they go teach the things of their people. That's not what I'm talking about. I think you know what I'm talking about, where it's like the soul of that person is lost. And I'm like, yeah, I want you to quote unquote calibrate to the level of power I have, but not so that you can be like me. So you can be more of you, because like, you're here to build a legacy. You're here to be a thought leader. You're here to have a big life, not to be part of my cult. Like, this is not.
I'm part of the Jocelyn cult. I mean,
That is not what but some
Oh.
personal brands read that way. And I am specifically like not into that frequency. Like, that's dangerous territory. This is not where I'm trying to take people.
No. No, and another thing that I really love about you, Jocelyn, is that I've been in your world now for like 6 months and seen you live so often, and that you hold the energy all the way through. And really, you are so authentic that what you see is what you get. That is very important to me. I know you are really solid when it comes to your taking care of your body, taking care of your energies, and that's worth so much for me. I don't want to work with someone who isn't like taking care of herself in all aspects of life. It's just
Neither
important
do
to me.
I. Yeah,
No.
it's just a value.
Yeah.
What do you mean about holding the energy all the way through? Oh, you mean just that like congruency piece, like on the camera, off the camera
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, but and also it's like you're not like low in energy, energized. Low in energy, energized. You're like this, and that I like that. You are, I mean, that's really something that you are a master of, I think,
Thank
because
you.
you're not going into this, that masculine energy of overdoing, and then we don't see you.
And then you're like, where did she go?
No,
Yeah.
no, and you're, I mean, it's really, yeah, you're solid, but you do it in a feminine way. I just love that. And I like
I
that.
I love what you're saying, because this is something that I'm attracted to also and drawn to. And it's this frequency of like a woman who knows how to move through the world. So she's visible. Like, I'm sure most of the time you open your email, your computer, your Voxer, there I am in front of you. But you feel that even though she's visible, there's still a leaned back thing in her energy. Like you can feel it.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I feel, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yeah, and also I know that you're you're just you, so you don't leak a lot of energies, because we do that every time we try to be a little bit different than we are, like showing up more energized than we really are,
Oh,
just
Lord.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, not. I mean, I'm not saying this to criticize anyone, but when we do that, we start leaking energy, and then we don't understand why we're so tired. When we have
Mm-hmm.
periods when we are tired, but you're just you, and then you don't leak energy when you work. So I think that's what I mean. You're just like, you are you, and you hold your energy. You're just showing up in an easy, laid back, but super, always very present, Jocelyn, as well.
Yeah.
You're always so present.
I'm an activator, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But this means a lot to me, because I feel like this can be the missing piece for people sometimes, is like wanting to find that. And it's so funny because I hosted a VIP dinner on Saturday, and I know you'd mentioned, I think you said you started listening to Lisa's show, something like that. And Elise was there. And Elise is for anyone, she's been on the podcast a few times, and she's one of my longest standing clients. She was literally one of my first clients ever.
Mm-hmm.
And she still is. And we were just talking about like authenticity in this online space. And like, for me, it's like, yeah, of course I'm willing to have an in-person, for someone who wants that like intimacy, et cetera, like, yes, I will host an in-person dinner or whatever it is, I'm like, there's something to being able to feel someone's energy like in real life, even though you see us on Zoom, it's different. And she was like, yeah, but like, you're always just, it's like what you think you're going to be like is exactly what you're like. It just like is what it is, what it is. And she was like, I've always just liked working with you because like, it's real. It's you. Like there's no like performance. And there's a lot of performing online, or things look one way with all the like dazzled up marketing, et cetera, et cetera. And then you get in behind the scenes paid and you're like, what's going on?
So, yeah.
It's very common.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm so focused too on like, you know, going back to FMM, even like we've got to build ourselves, because all this fancy marketing and all of this stuff like is not going to get you where you want to go if you aren't built to be that person from the inside. And, you know, even my more strategic work or like hottest shit on the internet, et cetera, it is still orienting you to your business still being formed around who you are on the inside. Like we're not just like slapping formulas down expecting to make millions of dollars. It's ridiculous. It's not how people make millions of dollars. I don't care if you're early or not. The end goal is like, that's where we want to go. Let's start going there today. And I've just met so many people who came out of these like, and I get it, everyone's like teaching from their perspective, right? But like just kind of following these like cookie cutter, it's not like there's any adjustment for the human. It's like, oh, this is just what you do. And I'm like, this is not going to take you very far. And they always end up tired, burned out, and just like over it. It never works when that's how you're going about building your business or honestly creating anything in your life. Like, are there principles that apply? Yes. Do you need to sell? Yes. Do you need to show up? Yes. Do you need to create content? Yes. But like, you get my point. There's so many ways about how we do things, and that nuance has always been important to me. Because also what gives you life could drain the hell out of me, but I'd be like, yes, Jessica, keep going because it gives you life, but I'm not going to do it. It's sort of like I always say, I'm like, don't try to learn from me for free, because I could tell a client the total opposite of what I said on the internet based off of her particular situation. I do that all the time because everybody's different, even though what I said on the internet is also true. Duality, you know?
Yes.
So that feels like, I'm just so happy to hear that, like, and I'd love to hear how it's felt to you, because I feel like, and I don't even mean even in just like interacting with that frequency within me, but I more mean how it's impacted you, because I feel like there was a congruency piece that got more in line between you feeling like who you are as a mentor, like when you're actually quote unquote doing your job, and then who are you on the internet are now becoming the same person.
Yeah, that's true. Because I had this.
You were never like, you were a very honest, straightforward person. I'm not talking about like when people manipulate. I'm talking about there's just these like hidden, it's like a little bit of hiding, a little bit of fear. You know what I mean? More that kind of frequency.
Yeah, it's the thing that you want to be seen as nice because you're afraid that someone will be angry with you.
Good girl stuff. You know how
Yeah. I had that, a bit of that in me. I just wanted to be seen as, like nice. And maybe I didn't dare, or I didn't dare to share all the truth that I really stand for. So that's the huge difference for me. Like, the reason for that my clients have the results that they have is that I see the world in different ways than other people do. And the clients that come to me, they come to me for that reasons. Like, for example, I don't think I have shared that with you, Jocelyn, but I grew up with a single mom who is, she's not living anymore. She has left her body, but she was bipolar and had schizophrenia, and also had the idea that people were like following her. So I grew up with that. And I knew early that I needed to do something about this. I needed to really work with this, because otherwise this would affect me. And it wasn't until I was like grown up or an adult, really, that I realized that I am the only person who can heal this. And I'm the only person who can say that now I'm healed. So I created a process that I help women so they can heal when they have similar situations with their mom, so they can heal that and go forward and leave that. And so I want to share that this is how I see that. And you can choose to be a victim for this the rest of your life, but you will never be happy. Or you can choose to heal it and go forward in your life. And I have a specific method for that. And some people will be triggered because they want to stay in victimhood, because that's just how we work through different parts of our life. So that's the thing that I'm starting to share, how I view these things. And, in the beginning, I might have felt scared that some people would, be offended. But I know that in order for those people who really need to heal and who want to find me, I need to speak the truth. So that's what motivates me. So the women who really needs my help, I'm speaking the truth so they can find me, even if some people will be annoyed and upset and angry and so on.
And it's so much more fulfilling because the quality of relationships you build in your business, like when I think about like even our connection, right? And the qualities of relationships, I mean, even you were in FMM and the sisterhood built there, and it's wild what happens in that space. That mastermind is 3 months and you turn into a different person. Like when you look back, remember when you were sharing, what exactly did you say when you were sharing your list? Oh yeah, because at the end of the container, we have our closing ceremony. And so I have everyone look back at the original list because it's so crazy, because you won't remember how much you manifested and how much you've grown.
No.
Like it's insane. But the whole thing is, right, we collapse time, and I'm dead fucking serious. That's what we do, is quantum leap and collapse time in all the ways. And so I remember when you read back over your list, you were like, wait, what? I don't know if you want to share that with everyone, because honestly, you had changed so much.
Yes.
Things that you were desiring to release, like to whatever degree you desire to share, please do. It was like you had even forgotten that these things had ever been a problem for you.
Exactly. I don't remember everything I wrote on the list, but it was so good. I encourage everyone who starts a program to write a list in the beginning so they can look back, because there's so many things that happen and you don't remember them, especially when it's kind of energetic results, when it's not.
Which often precede other tangible ones. Like we got to do that work. You tend to only remember like money. Yes. You know what I mean? Or something like that. But there's so much builds up to that. But anyway, keep
yeah, but it was a list, and this is what I want to release, and this is what I want to release. And now I was reading through the list. I was actually checking the dates, and was it really only 3 months ago that I wrote this? Did I write this? I know, because we had a specific journal dedicated to FMM.
Yeah.
But
I do that on purpose.
Yeah. And can I have written this? It's a bit embarrassing to read this now, because the change was so different. And one of the things was that I wanted to actually step into the courage of showing more of who I truly am in my content. And I felt scary in the beginning. I remember, I think I asked you, I think it was in a FMM, something about, I think we talked about this, how scary it is to like be authentic. And don't you ever, and I think it was something, how does it come so easy for you, Jocelyn? Something like that, I think asked. And you was like, but it's just so fun to be yourself, to share something like that. It's just another different. And I think that what we talked about before, because when you're not yourself, even in these aspects, you leak energy, you start leaking energy. And we're not talking about that you have to share like everything. That's not what it's
No,
about.
like I don't do this whole Dear Diary thing on the internet. People confuse authenticity with like sharing all their wounding. Like this
No,
is not what we're doing.
no, it is not. It is not. It's like, I know if there are any coaches watching this and listening, I'm sure that when you are in coaching one-on-one or when you are in your programs, you're more confident, you show who you really are, your coaching skills because people have paid. But when you're in your contents and you're on the internet, maybe you're just holding back a bit, not daring to show who you are because you want people to like you and that stuff, but it doesn't work.
And what's professional, what's not, like all of these different layers. I'm like, we've got to come from a deeper place in this. Again, you want to build a legacy. You want to be known. You want the movement that you create to be so big that it becomes bigger than you are. You want to be a thought leader. You want to change the paradigm. This is a totally different kind of conversation.
Yes, totally. And I was a bit annoyed before because I know I'm a really good coach and I know that people get so good results. And my DMs were quite silent before. But now when I'm starting sharing my truth, like I said, people are coming to me, writing in my DMs, wanting to work to me, wanting to work with me. It's a whole nother energy. So it's so important. So everyone who is shy of sharing who they are, actually you are doing everyone else an unfavor because they won't find you.
No, they literally just won't even see you.
No, they don't see
They
you.
literally could be following you and like literally just won't see you. There won't be that zing. And we don't want that zing to be once in a while. We want that zing to be every day.
Yes.
Where people like they find you, they buy, they're in, they love it, they stay. This is what it's got to look like if you want a big business.
Yes, exactly.
So this is why it's like we're building ourselves to how we're experienced behind the scenes and forward facing are like synonymous. You know what I mean? And to where it's like what I love too about being someone who heavily prioritizes investing in my evolution is like, well, your clients don't get quote unquote bored because you're also always evolving.
So important. So
right?
important.
Like if you learn from me and the Cash Queen, which is a phenomenal program, and then you come into Overflow, they're very different. I'm in a very different place. They're both highly valuable, but they're just different because I've been evolving. So my whole thing in my business is like, no matter where you are, what frequency of mind you want to plug into based on where I was at that time, or you want to hear it from me now, even if you're not where I am, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's always that place to go. And it's like, you get to come on the journey of my evolution. And so like, you don't skip step. It's like you move faster, but you get what you need at every single level. Because the way that I would explain something now from earlier in my journey is different than I explained it then, where it was more present. So I kind of love that it still exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's something that is like important to me too, is like, I actually don't want everything to be for my current mindset because there's things that I really had to walk and transcend that are now a non-issue, but someone else is still there. So I want to be able to give them the depth of like that transcendence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So this is just so cool. And I love that you just feel like you're being more, it's like you came into my world to become more of you.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I noticed, because I was in another program before, and I realized that the men in that program, they were doing so much better than the women. And I knew behind the scenes that we were, if you looked at the experience and the coaching qualities and things like that, there was no difference, but they believed in themselves in a whole nother way. So that's also what I wanted from a coach, which I found in you, Jocelyn, like a woman who believes in herself and still being, like a woman, if you understand what I mean, not in the masculine imbalanced way of powerful woman. That's not what I wanted. I want someone who was like, solid, genuine, balanced in her masculine and her feminine energy, because you need both of the parts. They need to be balanced. And sometimes we just have the masculine part very imbalanced, and we do, and that's not sustainable. And
then sometimes we have feminine spilled out all over the floor, and she's not supported, so it's not going well.
No. Just meditating all the day, wondering why you don't manifest what you want in your business.
Not going to work. And I feel like something else you brought forward too. I mean, you have an incredible relationship, but in you stepping back into your feminine, it created a lot more space for your husband to show up for you.
Yeah, of course it does. It does for everyone around you, actually. It's like, because, the thing that, you can do all the stuff. I can do all the stuff, but it's also really good if someone else can do it or help me doing it. And men are wired that way. They want to support us. They want to help us. They want to feel needed.
Yeah. And I'm like, amen, because I don't want to do any of these things.
No.
It's amazing. And people are like, I'm so stressed out, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, what's going on in your personal life? Like, who's doing what? And are you still being a martyr? Because if you're still being a martyr, don't tell me how stressed out and tired you are. Because whose fault is that?
Exactly.
Like, we have to resource ourselves. If we want to feel spaciousness, we actually have to put in the resources to experience spaciousness. The amount of support I have in my life on a personal and professional level, you would think that there was a family of 6. Yeah. And that's just for me. You can imagine what I'd be doing if I had a family of 6. You can only imagine. But I would do it. Like, this is what's required for the cup to feel full. And also, why are we modeling to our kids this like suffering through the household vibe?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm
like to our daughters, oh, well, when you're in a relationship, don't let them do anything for you. Why was that what you would teach her?
Yeah. Actually, I've been quite good at like letting my men do the part of the household, because they always been more what do you call them, more neat, or what do you call them, more into having it nice around,
tidy.
Tidy. Better, much better than I am.
I'm not especially tidy either. That's why but I like things tidy, but I don't like organizing.
Exactly the same here.
Yeah.
I love it when it is, but I don't like doing that stuff that much. And so there are many things but I think it's another level of receiving, like really letting yourself being like held by a man. There is something to that. And it
feels really good.
Yeah, it feels
when
really.
You allow yourself to step into it. Like, it feels so much better. People are always like, how do you have so much energy for this? How do you have so much energy for that? I'm like, I know how to receive. Like, receiving is actually very easy for me.
Yes.
Because I've done the work. And even though I'm fiery and I'm bold, like, that part is like, boom, got it. Yeah. Yes. Feels good. Because I'm so solid with me, it feels safe.
Yeah. But receiving is such a huge part of it. That's something I really learned. I mean, through FMM, like I mentioned. And what happens is, because if you don't receive anything, you are like sending the message to universe that you don't receive any. So it will be harder for you to receive money as well if you don't learn to receive. Just want to do everything yourself, and that is exhausting. It really is exhausting. You can do it that way, but it's so much more fun and enjoyable to receive things.
And also, you'll cap your results. You can only get so far like that.
Yes.
In any area of your life.
Yes.
Like, you will. Like, if you want a big business, a big life, and it be feeling like a vibe, we got to be able to receive. When you can't receive, you end up with big business, stressed out, in the hospital every 4 months, relationships deteriorating, no sex life. Like, this is what ends up happening.
Exactly.
So it's like, I'm always talking about wealth without the cost. So we actually have to create it.
Yes. Yeah, and we started in the beginning, so that's also, and you're really good at teaching that, and I know that's what my soul connected me with you, because, like I said, the things I was doing before, it worked, but I didn't enjoy it, and I couldn't see how I could scale that in a way that would feel good for me. And now
Yeah, it will hit a wall. You can't. It's going to hit a
no,
wall
you can't.
eventually, and people's income caps. That's what happens. It
Yes.
caps and then it starts going down, and we're like, we get to skip all that drama.
Yes. Yeah, we get. So that was also so easy. Like, I had my first master classes now in it was, the first one is the late August, and the second one was in October, and it was so easy. And I learned not to be, crazy when I launched something new. Just keep my energy
Just
to
keep it
not be
chill.
drained.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I was joking. I said, keep it chill. We don't need to be doing these like highs, lows, like drama. Get off the launch roller coaster.
Yes. Yeah. That is so
And
important.
how
I
did
think,
those go for you? Like just
yeah,
bringing a different energy to it.
yeah, just bring in different, and I think that is like, that is a part of, because we come from this, we have these waves, women, during our cycle, our monthly cycle. So it's easy to think that this is the way. But the thing is that if we're not aware, what we create is, like these ups, and then boom, we're so tired and drained, and then up, and we run the business from excitement, and then we fall down, and this is not sustainable. So just keep it, calm and easy all the way. And it's totally doable. And it's like, wow, it's this easy. That's so, I mean, like I said, people coming into my DMs, buying my high ticket without any sales calls has never happened before. And now it's just so easy, because I do the things, but I take care of myself, and I show up for myself, and I do what I need to do in my business, but in an easy way. So it's such
I
a
love
difference.
it. This makes me so happy. This is exactly what I hear from. I hear this all the time. Everyone's like, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
It's so much easier. I'm not saying we're never going to go through some portal birth canal feeling,
No.
expanding our capacity. Like, I'm not saying every single step is easier. I'm saying the end result and how things wind up coming to you is way easier. And then sometimes we go through these things as we're stretching and expanding into the next level of our our business, to be able to have what we want, or to get the business to a place. Like, sometimes to get to a place of more sustainability, it requires an additional expansion of our capacity, because things need to rearrange and shift.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you get on the other side is more ease, right? So that's normal to go through that. But like, we want the overall tone, texture, and experience in the business to be one of ease, to be, I post, I open DMs, people are there, they buy on their own. They don't even need to DM me anymore. Obviously, this is outside of close proximity, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's just very fluid. We're not making money in highs and lows. Oh my God, I made tons of money, and then the next month I crashed to the floor. Like, everything we're doing is built for long-term, sustainable, increasing success. Everything.
Yes.
And of course, we're going to do fun, vibey things for cash injections and different things like that. But you get my point. We're not doing highs and lows. Good luck. Like you will literally just eventually it will fizzle. Like, it just doesn't work.
No. So if you live your life for that, you will see
it doesn't work for your nervous system. It doesn't work. Like, I don't just mean your business. I mean, it's not a life. Like, you cannot do this in life, period.
No, exactly. And that shows up in the business as well.
Yeah.
If you have these ups and downs, and I had them before, I was like, the ups and downs, and I didn't want to have that anymore. And the thing is that when you change your strategy, like I did, I knew the other thing worked, but I didn't like it. And then you have this like void for a while.
The void.
Yeah.
But this is so much of the beauty of FMM, right? You learn to master the void.
Exactly. That was so good, because you talk about a lot about that during FMM, and I hold on to that for kind of,
You're like, please let this woman be right.
Exactly. But really was, oh, maybe I should go back to the old way of, the sales because it really worked, and it's not working, and I'm never gonna make any more money, the thing. But I was, no, okay, take it easy
hold
now.
it. Yeah.
And then it suddenly clicks in, and you're like, wow, this is how easy it is.
This is about being able to hold the space.
Yes.
And also, it's cool because we got to work through your actual energetics. You get to see where you actually are when you're not being validated by a framework. Like, there's so much discovery inside the void. And if we actually do that work when we're in it, you wound up further ahead than where you were before, doing the thing that you didn't like that you thought was getting results. Exactly. So now we're doing what you do like, and we quantum leap from where we were before by learning to actually master being in the void. Because on the flip, sometimes people don't do that work, and then they make the change, and then it's like fucking crickets for 4 months, and we don't have time for that.
No.
So let's actually become masterful at fucking space.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah, that is so important, because it's so easy that you just that you panic and you go back to the old thing, and then you are like this again.
And then and then you wind up back where you started, and we're not going anywhere.
No. So that was super good. I mean, like I said, everything was like everything that I have experienced in your work, Jocelyn, has been divine timing, exactly what I needed and exactly when I needed it. And the cool thing is, I'm also in MMR. It's not live yet, but as always, I start binging everything and listening. And then there is a part there about this, the easy launch, and that was exactly when I needed to have it in my when I started doing my masterclass. And it was like, okay, do this, that is, and I did that, and wow, it works, and it really gets to me.
Wow, it worked. Yes, it does work. When you apply what I teach, it works very well.
Yeah. So yeah, really good at teaching. I mean, Jocelyn, it's one thing to knowing the things and doing them for yourself, but you're really good at teaching. And you just need to listen, and you implement what you do in your own way.
Yeah.
It's a lot of energetics that you teach. And so it's not about copying you, but it's like just using the ideas. And how do I do now? How do I keep my energy? It's so interesting, because when I went through this with a masterclass, the first one, I haven't heard the MMR part first, and I was like, oh, why isn't more people signing up? And the first day you tell about it, and and all the energy, and you get tired, and then the next one is like, okay, I'm holding the vision, and I'm just do what I'm going to do, and boom, everything just turns out perfect.
Wealth energetics are real. The end. And strategy is very important, and we need both.
We need both. We need both. Exactly.
But a strategy without everything else popping behind the scenes will not do anything for you. No. Just like vibing on life with no strategy won't do anything for you either. Like, we've just got to be understanding of the fact that we need both, and that what that need looks like is going to evolve as we grow in business, which is why there's such a stack to my programs in terms of the different levels of energetics, et cetera, and strategy, and yada, yada.
Yeah.
This is so good. Thank you for sharing all of this. I love this conversation. So if anyone is on the fence about working with me, because now you've been in so many different of my spaces, which I just love. So what would you have to say to them? Because it really feels like your business has transformed, you've transformed, and it didn't take that long. Like I always say, it's like, oh, these are things I wanted for 10 years, 5 years. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Here it is. Like, it actually gets to be like this. The speed on my work, the energy on my work is speed. Like that is what we do.
Super. Yeah, true. And, I think we're also going through a period that it's really easy to go fast if you want to do that. And so what I would like to say to someone who's on the fence is always listen to your soul. Yeah. And just define what you want in your life and in your business. And if the universe shows Jocelyn to you, just go. because you will get exactly what you need. And, listen, I mean, I work that way that I really zoom in with one person
which is really the way to do it, or a couple people, but like not more than a couple. If having 16,000 different people you learn from is like dating 16 people at a time, it's really leaky energetically. You will end up fried.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me. I used to do that before in my life, but that came from a more of an anxious energy, like, oh, maybe I miss something if I don't follow her, or maybe I don't, if I don't.
Yeah, it's not grounded.
No, it's not grounded. So now I'm super grounded, and I just feel like, yeah, I want to learn from Jocelyn now. So just listen to your soul, and when your soul guides you, just take the leap. Just take the leap. And there are so many different levels in your world, Jocelyn, where you can start. And I mean,
that's the thing too. You can buy a masterclass, you can come in close proximity, you can buy a program, you can buy a bundle, you can buy the membership. Like, we've just got to pick somewhere and let's start, and don't, like, I think sometimes people are like, I'm going to wait to like save for private coaching. I'm like, do not do that. We need to be making like forward progress.
Yeah, just go. I think that is very, very important, because that's the thing, that if you're in a business and you haven't received any help before and you are drawn to Jocelyn, just go for it, because you will save so much time and money. And I mean, it can be the difference between you getting a really good business, or maybe you're not going to continue your business at all. We need help, and we need to just find the ones that we are attracted to energetically and just go for it. I mean,
totally. I mean, look at what happened to you. You doubled your monthly income.
Yes.
And it was easier, not harder.
No, that is so important. And everything that I wanted when I sent out my message to universe, I have received now, from your teachings, Jocelyn. So it's just, I mean, yeah, just do it. There is, I mean, no waiting. Why wait?
Exactly.
Just
so it won't, and like, don't wait for more money. Go where you can go now.
Yes,
I think people make the mistake. Do not wait to be able to invest in access. Just start.
Yes.
It's so important to just start. Okay. This is so beautiful. So if anyone would like to get in touch with you, we're going to put your links in episode notes. But just so they can hear it verbally as well, where's the best way to chat with you, learn more about you, all the different things?
Yeah, come and find me on Instagram. I'm Jessica Isegran, super simple. My content is in Swedish, but as you know, I speak English. So just send me a DM if there is something. I also work with clients in other languages. So just not other, but in English.
You're so like, I speak 6 different languages. No matter whether you speak Italian, French, Portuguese, English, or Japanese, please hit my DMs. Which I would love that if that was your vibe.
Yeah, it isn't, unfortunately. But I speak English, and I have it's just that I had this, I still have this thing that I need to do my stuff in Swedish for a while. It's just important. That's the message that I get. It might be in English in the future. But I have clients. I have, in other places of the world than Sweden. Sounds very strange. Yeah, but anyway, you find me on Instagram, and you can also go and check out my website. It's jessicaisigran.com.
And on social media, there's like a translator thing too. Because like, at least when I see your things on Facebook, I see them in English.
Oh yeah. So I mean,
all right, Queen Bee. Well, this has just been the best. I love talking to you, and I know that everyone else loved hearing. You have like the best voice. You're so nice to listen to.
Oh, thank you. That's good, because I do podcasts, so it's good that I have a nice voice.
You do. Well, thank you so much for being here and for the time, and also just for being so deep in my world. It's just such a pleasure to have you. Like, I am just blessed. The women that come into my spaces, talk about the benefits of actually being yourself on the internet. It's phenomenal. Like I feel so I don't believe in luck, but I feel so lucky, you know? Because I
Yeah.
obviously created it on purpose, but you got my point.
Yeah. And thank you so much for spending this time with you, Jocelyn. I really loved every minute. It's so nice chatting to you, and just thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you.